Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Huria Amir, Head of Physiology Department, Faisalabad Medical University. Now, my dear students, as we are doing the motor system, the part of CNS, today we are going to learn about the behavioral and motivational mechanisms which are there in the brain. We are going to learn about the limbic system and the hypothalamus. Now, the control of behavior is a function of the entire nervous system. The wakefulness and the sleep cycle, the motivational control of the learning process, the feelings of punishment, pleasure, these functions of the nervous system, they are being performed mainly by the basal regions of the brain, which together are called the limbic system. And what is the meaning of this word limbic system is border system. So you can be asked about what are the functions of the border system. The functions of border system, they are actually to control the behavior of a person. They are there for learning process, for motivational feelings, control, the feelings of pleasure, punishment. These all functions are being performed by the basal regions of the brain, and they are together known as the border system or the limbic system. Now, let's talk about the control of cerebral activity by continuous excitatory signals from the brain stem. The nerve signals in the brain stem activate the cerebral part of the brain in two ways. How they are going to activate the cerebral part? That is by directly stimulating a background level of the neuronal activity in the wide areas of the brain. By activating neurohormonal systems that release specific facilitatory or inhibitory hormone like neurotransmitters substances into selected areas of the brain stem. So this activity is directly by the activation of the neuronal activity as well as by the release of different facilitatory or inhibitory hormone like neurotransmitter substances. Now, severe compression of the brainstem at the juncture between the mesencephalon and cerebrum results from a pineal tumor, and it often causes the person to go into the unremitting coma. So, you can see the excitatory area, how the inhibitory area. So, there is excitatory activity going on, inhibitory activity going on, neuronal activity going on, and this excitation, inhibition by the neurotransmitters, they are going on, and they all are going to inhibit or depress the activating system. Now, the reticular excitatory area of the brainstem. The central driving component of this system is an excitatory area located in the reticular substance of the pons and mesencephalon known as bulboreticular facilitatory area, which is going to lead to the information to thalamus, and thalamus is going to lead to information to all the regions of the cerebral cortex. Now, there is presence of two types of signals passing through thalamus. Short-lived action potentials by large neuronal bodies, that is, there is acetylcholine release, and long-lived signals by small neuronal bodies, that is, by reticular and intralaminar nuclei. Now, first is the excitation of the excitatory area by peripheral sensory signals. Now, pain signals, they strongly excite the brain to attention. The effect of cutting the brain stem above the point where the fifth cerebral nerve enters the pons. These nerves are the highest nerves entering the brain that transmit significant numbers of somatosensory signals into the brain. The level of activity in the brain excitatory area diminishes abruptly, and the brain proceeds instantly to a state of greatly reduced activity approaching coma. But when the brainstem is transected below the fifth nerves, which leaves much input of sensory signals from the facial and oral regions, the coma is averted. So you should be knowing about coma. So it can be asked that what is coma, and that is the level of activity in the brain excitatory area which diminishes and greatly reduced, leading to coma, and the person cannot be aroused. Number 2 is the increased activity of the excitatory area caused by feedback signals returning from the cerebral cortex. The signals are sent from the cortex to brainstem excitatory area, which in turn sends still more excitatory signals to the cortex. This helps to maintain the level of excitation of cerebral cortex, or even to enhance it. Positive feedback that allows any beginning activity in the cerebral cortex to support still more activity, thus leading to an awake mind. Thalamus. What is thalamus? Thalamus is actually a distribution center that controls the activity in specific regions of the cortex. Almost every area of the cerebral cortex connects with its own highly specific area in the thalamus. The signals regularly reverberate back and forth between the thalamus and the cerebral cortex. The thinking process establishes long-term memories by activating such back and forth reverberation of signals. A reticular inhibitory area located in the lower brainstem. It is located medially and ventrally in the medulla. This area can inhibit the reticular facilitatory area of the upper brainstem and thereby decrease activity in the superior portions of the brain as well. One of the mechanisms for this is to excite serotonergic neurons. These in turn secrete the inhibitory neurohormone serotonin at crucial points in the brain. Neurohormonal control of brain activity. This is to secrete excitatory or inhibitory neurotransmitter hormonal agents into the substance of the brain, and these neurohormones often persist for minutes or hours, thereby provide long periods of control. Now, the neurohormonal control of brain activity, that is actually a combination of excitatory as well as the inhibitory hormones. Now, what are they? First one is the norepinephrine system excitatory hormone. Dopamine system inhibitory mostly. Serotonin system inhibitory. And acetylcholine excitatory. So we have to remember that norepinephrine and acetylcholine, they are excitatory, whereas dopamine and serotonin, they are inhibitory in nature. The locus ceruleus and norepinephrine system. The locus ceruleus is a small area located bilaterally and posteriorly at the juncture between pons and mesencephalon. Nerve fibers from this area spread throughout the brain and secrete norepinephrine and excites the brain, causing dreaming, rapid eye movement, sleep. So locus coeruleus is important if you are being asked about what is the function of locus coeruleus. You can see locus coeruleus, that is having its output as well as the input from different areas of the brain. You can see how it is acting, responsible for dreaming, for rapid eye movement, sleep. The substantia nigra and dopamine system. It lies interiorly in the superior mesencephalon, and its neurons sends nerve endings mainly to the quadrate nucleus and putamen of cerebrum, where they secrete dopamine, and they act as inhibitory transmitter in the basal ganglia. The destruction of dopaminergic neuron in the substantia nigra is the basic cause of Parkinson's disease, also known as Parkinsonism or paralysis agitans. You can see how this caudate and putamen nuclei circuitry taking place in the central nervous system. The raphe nuclei and the serotonin system. In the midline of pons and medulla are the thin nuclei called raphe nuclei, which are secreting serotonin. They send fibers to diencephalon, cerebral cortex, and spinal cord. The serotonin secreted at the cord fiber endings has the ability to suppress pain. The serotonin causes local cord neurons to secrete enkephalin as well. The enkephalin, it causes both the presynaptic and postsynaptic inhibition of incoming type C and type A delta pain fibers, where they synapse in the dorsal horns. The analgesia system can block pain signals at the initial entry point to spinal cord and can block the withdrawal reflexes. You can see how they are acting. The gigantocellular neurons of the reticular excitatory area and the acetylcholine system. Gigantocellular neurons, the giant cells in the reticular excitatory areas of pons and mesencephalon. The fibers from these large cells, they divide immediately into two branches. One is going to pass to the higher areas of the brain and the other is going to go to the spinal cord. And the neurohormone is acetylcholine. The acetylcholine is functioning as an excitatory neurotransmitter. The activation of these acetylcholine neurons leads to an acutely awake and excited nervous system. You can see how these gigantocellular neurons, they are acting. So you're all desire to make and label the diagram of limbic system. You can see the limbic, that is the extra border structures around the basal regions of the cerebrum, consisting of limbic cortex as well as the associated deep structures. And we are going to learn about this limbic system in second lecture. So stay blessed, take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.